Just waiting. We are live. Okay. Hello. Good morning. Welcome. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're staying warm wherever you are, whatever part of the country you happen to be in right now. Hope you're staying nice and toasty before the holidays hit. I guess some of them have already hit. I apologize. Shut up. Let's talk about writing. That's what we're here to do. Okay. So coming up on the end of my science fiction novel. That's all you need to know. Coming up on the end of writing my first draft of my science fiction novel, and things are starting to heat up. Things are all of the plot lines and everything are starting to converge. And I've only got, let's see, I'm going to guess 10,000 words left to go. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but I'm going to estimate about 10,000 words coming up on the big kind of final boss battle. And the question rather, at this point is, how do I pace this thing? What's the best thing to do? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm giving you absolute permission for your first draft to get through this thing as fast as possible. Just jam it out real quick, make it go quick, make it go fast. Get from where you are. If you're coming up on the end, just get to the end as fast as you can. Totally okay for a first draft. Let it sit, let it breathe. It's like, I don't know, do you open wine and let wine sit for a minute or something like that? I think. I'm not sure. I don't drink wine, so I don't know. Anyway, with your novel, finish it fast, just go in and get it done, and then let it sit. Give it a few days at least. I think Stephen King once recommended like a month or more. I think that's in On Writing. I can't remember exactly. If you can go a month, go a month. I think that's great. If you can't, if you're just too anxious and whatever, that's cool. But definitely give yourself a few days. Go start a new book or go work on something else before you dive back into it. When you hit your revision, that's the time to slow down. That's the time to really go in and take a look at things. I recommend reading the entire book from beginning to end, preferably print it out if you can. And not only that, but even print it out in a font that you weren't using when you composed. Now, I can't imagine there are people out there using Calibri. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Your default Word document. I just can't fathom anyone doing that. But if you do, fine. I don't. I stick with Times New Roman. Whatever font you used, go back and choose a different one, print it out if you can, and go read it somewhere else. Those are all different tips and techniques I've picked up over the years from different authors and editors. I think Mike Stackpole is the one who recommended that you do it in a different room, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, do that. It will seem more new to your brain and you will catch more things. But give it a full read through. Take notes as you go if you want to, but give it a full read before you dive in and start making any changes, okay? When we talk about pacing, in that sense, the pace at which you work, the pace at which you get the thing done should be fast. Get it out. Just get the thing done. When you're going into revision and thinking about pacing, be thinking in terms of a heartbeat. All stories have a rhythm. They have a heartbeat. Now, certainly, there are certain genres where the pace is fairly relentless, right? I've written a couple of them where like you kind of get through the opening, which I tend to not do very slow openings. I like to jump in and get things going as quickly as possible. Other genres, you have some space. You can kind of slow down, take things as they come. That's great. In either case, regardless, your genre has a rhythm, it has a heartbeat, it has a pace. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe it's very fast and it's just, and we're going. Maybe it's a little bit more slower. Maybe it's more literary and we're going to kind of take our time and investigate things. Epic fantasy has a very different pace. Now, I don't know. I was thinking of a book that I'm gonna mess up the name, so I'm not even going to go in there right now. In any case, in your revision, be looking for those beats, be looking for that heartbeat, be looking for that rhythm. Where do things kind of slow down? And you can actually do this visually, in my experience, depending on your particular writing voice, is literally look at how big are these paragraphs. Are you seeing pages and pages where it's one sentence, two sentences, three sentences, maybe in a paragraph? Meaning those things are going to read very fast. Most of my novels fall into that category. You'll just flip through any of my books and you won't see big whopping paragraphs. That's fine. It's not right or wrong, and whichever way you write is not right or wrong either. But do look for them on the page. Do you have these big sections of just giant paragraphs? And if so, that's going to be slow. If it's a fight scene, if it's an action scene, if it's a chase scene, if it's something where you want that heartbeat to get picked up, go in and start adding hard returns. a lot of the stuff with pacing, you guys, is the manual placement of words on the page. It's how you use the real estate. I frankly, you should do an entire course on how to lay things out in the white space, because it all matters, including blank pages. Read Mercy Rule, read Winter Girls by Laurie Haltz Anderson. See what we've done with blank pages and how a heartbeat sounds when you encounter a blank page. It'll mess you up if it's done correctly. So how you lay things out on the page is definitely going to impact your pacing. If you're in a slower pace scene where we're getting some information, we're kind of revealing character, things like that, then some longer paragraphs are going to be perfectly fine. We're going to take a breath right here. In this science fiction novel that I'm working on, there's a lot of action. It's a girl in a mech, so there's combat, there's a lot of fighting going on, right? And so there's many sequences where there are very short paragraphs, bam 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 bam, firing weapons and blah blah, all this kind of stuff. But there's this other emotional journey that's going on as well. And so as the creator god of this universe and the storyteller, the crafter of this tale, I need to slow down too and allow for those things to happen. Allow the main characters who are on this journey together to sit and breathe and relate and talk and discuss and learn about each other, so that the audience can do that too. We can't just jump in. It's like starting with an explosion. You can start with an explosion, but not without context. I didn't think I was going to go here, but okay. Anyway, in one of the seasons of, pardon me, just had breakfast. One seasons of 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. And I don't remember which season it was. It wasn't 1, 2, or 3, so it may have been 4 or 5, somewhere in there. Anyway, it starts with a news broadcast about these random suicide bombings that have been happening. And it's just kind of in the background, so we hear it, we're aware of it, and then this one guy's trying to get on a bus, and the bus driver sees that he's not white, so the bus driver closes the door and starts driving off without him. And the guy's like, I gotta go to work, what are you doing? Let me on the bus. And he won't let him on the bus. It's this totally racist moment, right? And then, while the guy's bitching, the bus goes down the street and blows the hell up. Boom, absolutely destroyed. So it's a great opening. It accomplishes so many things in about 2 or 3 minutes. But the point I'm making about that is, yes, it opens with an explosion, but it's not the first thing that happens. The first thing that happens is we get to know very briefly, but we still get to know this one-off character who's just trying to get to work. And so we immediately have an empathy for him, and we're seeing a little tiny mini story evolve in just this 2 or 3 minutes or 2 or 3 pages of your book, whichever, and then the explosion happens. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to pacing, big start, boom, cool, but, give us a little, set the scene a little bit, so that when the explosion happens, we care about the people who are impacted by that explosion. In this science fiction novel, again, there's been just scene after scene after scene, lots of action, lots of gunfights and things getting blown up and whatever, people getting injured. There's all kinds of cool stuff happening, but I can't just have gunfight after gunfight after gunfight. No movie, no TV series, no book can really successfully do that. There has to be room for the reader as well as the characters to just stop and, okay, get our bearings, figure out what's going on, and most importantly, develop that character. Because if the character isn't developing, if the character isn't growing, throughout the course of all these gunfights and action scenes and sword fights and whatever, explosions, then they start to kind of lose their impact. You can cram as many gunfights and whatever else in there as you want to. You can have as many sword fights in your and magic fights in your fantasy novel as you want to, but if the character isn't growing and changing, we kind of stop caring about the sword fights. So that's kind of an oblique way to look at pacing, but it's something that I'm working on right now. Again, get the book finished, get it done. Don't worry about necessarily building in the heartbeats in your first draft. Worry about going back in revision and crafting them in there if they don't already exist. A lot of you, maybe, it happens naturally. Great. Sometimes I'm lucky and it happens naturally. Other times it's going back and just working on it with manually to insert beats. Like, where's this action scene end? Okay, bam. And now we need to slow things down. Then we're going to pick it back up and then we'll slow it down, that da-da. Got to get that beat and that rhythm in there, okay? Anyway, that's enough. I've talked too much. I hope you have a great morning and a great weekend. Stay warm and healthy, for crying out loud. Please stay healthy, okay? And whatever you do, give yourself some time to make sure that you get some writing done and to tell your story, because that's what it's all about. One quick thing, if you have students or kids who are ages currently right now 13 to 18, I just launched a course on OutSchool, just spelled like it sounds, OutSchool, and it's for younger writers, and it's just a one-off class in a couple of weeks. So if that's something you're interested in, look up outschool.com and search for me. You should be able to find me on there. And if that works, then we'll throw some other classes out there, and that'd be pretty cool. All right. I think that's it. Take care, be safe, and keep writing. Take care, everybody.